Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after they put out big news. With us today, happy to have him back because he got really big news. Spiro Curry, CEO of TGS Esports, as you can see behind him, trades on the venture under TGS, and for friends in Europe, 5RH on Frankfurt. For those of you new to the story, and that's going to be a lot of you because volumes are climbing, prices climbing, and therefore that attracts a lot of attention. TGS in the esports business, but more importantly, they become a leader in esports events, sponsorship, production. All right, they're putting on tons of online esports tournaments per week, but more importantly, I love the fact that their tournaments are sponsored by some big names like Pepsi, Red Bull, Shaw Cable, 7-Eleven, you name it. And they're doing it for they're doing broadcasts of live esports for NHL 20, or I guess maybe that's, I don't know if there's an NHL 21. Yeah, Spiro's going to tell us. NBA 2K, Fortnite, COD, you name it. And they're feeding their great content onto any platform or TV station. So they got Twitch going well, and GINX Esports TV. They've got it all covered. And the big news is, I'm going to read the headline. TGS announces upsizing of strategic finance to $2 million due to strong investor demand. Spiro, welcome back, $2 million man. How are you?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back, especially with some good news for sure.
Hey, first of all, before we get into the news, man, how good do you and your team around you feel right now, knowing that you announced $1 million private placement and you've upsized, you've had to double that? How good does it feel to know that the industry is now taking note of the company and stock is in demand?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, validation, right? Like you put in all these long hours and hard work, and our team works tirelessly to build this company and get us to a certain level. And so when investors in the market believe in that as well, it's validation for the hard work. So we feel really good. We have plans to grow and to scale, and so anytime you're able to satisfy that via a strategic investment like this, it just allows us to get to the next step a lot faster. So we had a team meeting last night. We have them every Monday night, and the energy was really high and super positive. Nice. And nice. We're really excited at the future.
What does this also say about, because look, I think guys like you and me, you're a pioneer, obviously, on the esports side, on your side of things. We were pioneers on the esports side on messaging communications back in 2016. People thought we were insane, right? What do you think it means for esports, the common person, the layman investor out there, the traditional investor, to see this kind of demand? Have we now got that point where people get it? Esports this decade most likely is going through a paradigm shifting, parabolic growth rate.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I do believe, the pandemic has had an effect on that, just because eyeballs are just more like, they're just more there. They're everywhere. They're looking. There's only so much TV people can watch. And so
I'm sick of TV. I don't even bother.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Right. So like, especially when there weren't pro sports, like you're looking at Netflix, that dries up quickly. Crave, HBO, whatever, those things dry up quickly. And so, Twitch, for example, is a platform where it's 24/7 live content. So it's not like you're watching something, binging a series. You can literally go on there anytime and watch live. And so more people than ever are watching, and definitely more people than ever are now educated. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the past, 8 or 9 months, coinciding with, the unfortunate circumstances around the pandemic that have led to this. But, number one, right off the bat, when it started, you couldn't find a Nintendo Switch anywhere. Like, they were sold out everywhere. Parents were looking for something, not to babysit, but to help. I have a 2.5-year-old, and it's the same issue. It's like during the day, randomly, it's like, there are things that you need to do to satisfy a child who needs that attention. And so those sold out. Fast forward a few months, October, November, the new Xbox and the new PlayStation come out. Those are literally sold out the second they hit the shelves. And
PS5, man, people are paying a crazy amounts of money, 2, 3, 4 times the sticker price.
Oh, it's insane on eBay. Yeah. And so you look at stuff like that, and it all kind of combines into just more eyeballs. from an investor perspective, there have been companies that have listed and that have done financings that have done very well. Fans Unite, Luckbox is another one. LUCK, amazing ticker. Them, even GameStop. Like, look at what GameStop's stock has done over the past couple of weeks, and the influx that they have seen. So gaming companies in general have more eyeballs on them. The industry has more eyeballs on them, and then therefore, it's the educational process is a little bit simpler. So,
by the way, that's pretty cool indication of who you are, though. I got to tell you, because I was at some point going to allude to the fact that the whole industry is really getting flush with, really become liquid with cash. But I wasn't going to name names because this is your interview, your company, and there you are naming the company you just named. I think that's really cool and shows that the esports digital mentality is a different one than the bricks and mortar mentality at the end of the day. So and
Thank
true.
you.
It's you guys are flush with cash. So let's talk about it. $2 million. Other than sending me $1.5 million of that, what are your plans? What are your plans for with the proceeds? Where are you going to allocate that? What are you really excited about? Where you say, "Hey George, I finally have the budget to do these one or two things that we know are very important to the company. We can finally do them." What are they?
Yeah, so there are a few things. So number one, we've built this amazing company. We still believe there are people out there that haven't interacted with us yet, and so we're definitely going to invest a lot of it into marketing and promoting the brand, promoting TGS, what we do, who we are, how you can interact with us, and that's across the board. Just getting our brand out there a bit more. Secondly, is something that's super close to our success is Pepper Software. And so we recently hired an additional developer. The list of companies that want to engage with this software is growing by the day. And so as we get closer to launch, we do feel like there's opportunity to expedite that process. And so we are going to be bringing on additional support to help increase the workload on the Pepper software to try to get it out, even if it's a week or two sooner than originally anticipated. So we're going to hire some more developers. And then, of course, with software, when it goes out, there's a ton of maintenance that gets done on a regular basis. So having a few more developers on our side to handle that initial influx is going to be really important. And then lastly, from a TGS perspective, we've already hired in the past month 2 people, and we need to hire about 2 to 4 more. We have events pretty much every day at this point.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you have to deploy? Are your marketing and sales guys working really hard to bring those events in, or are you at the point where you're just getting inbound calls saying, "Hey, Spiro, this is George from Agoracom. Need to do a tournament for my members and investors. Let's go." Or what?
Yeah.
Or is it a mix of both, or are you getting more inbound just because of your name getting out there?
I would say it's probably 70-ish%, 75% inbound, and then the rest is made up of
That's
outbound.
great, man.
Yeah, it's so in the month of January, we have 26 events that we are producing. Only 3 of them are put on and branded gaming stadium events. The other 23 are all third-party partners that we're working with, right? Or partnerships that we've engaged in. And so when you have 26 events in a month, you're talking about registration, you're talking about facilitation, communication, broadcasting. So our team is bursting at the seams. And so on the production side, for example, we had 2 production studios set up here in Vancouver. We just bought the equipment to set up a 3rd because we have so much production work coming in.
Love that anecdotal info.
Yeah. And so when we talk about scale and using these proceeds to scale, with every new opportunity that comes in the door, you need people to activate on that opportunity. And so we're basically at capacity right now. We're looking to bring some more people on board. And so this is going to help us scale. And hopefully, we have 26 events in a month. We want to have 40 events in a month, 50 events in a month. But to get there, we need the actual people to facilitate. And then, of course, having it all live in the Pepper software makes our life a lot easier. So it's all going to kind of over the next 2 months, all of those things are going to come to a head.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's a perfect segue into Pepper. Look, I'm dying for Pepper Esports to go. Why? Remind everyone at home, I don't want to steal your thunder, but how in our last interview or maybe the one before, I love the way you explained it. It's a platform. It's like Twitter. Everything you need is just there. You want to post, it's there. You want to reply, you want to create a list, you want to post GIFs, images, it's all in one place. That's what you guys done for the esports tournament world. And let's talk about how that makes life easier for me because I don't got to go cobble it together anymore.
Yeah. So the biggest pain point of a player and or a tournament organizer right now is the usage of multiple pieces of software to play in an event. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, and it can be super cumbersome. What Pepper does is it brings that whole experience under one roof. And so now the place where you register and set up an account is the same place you're going to actually play in the tournament. It's the same place you're going to communicate with the people who are running the tournament. And it's the same place where when the tournament's over, if you win, you're going to get your prize payout sent to you all in one roof. And so you don't have to worry about multiple accounts and logging in every time and setting up and blah, blah, blah. This allows all that to happen under one roof. So it's pretty revolutionary. And like I mentioned earlier, like we're out there and we're talking to brands and to partners about them utilizing this software as well. And the list of people who are ready to use it is just growing by the day. And so hiring a couple additional developers to be able to expedite the process is going to make life better kind of for everyone, because people are chomping at the bit.
Does all the work. The platform is going to do all the work. Right now, you're helping George with, okay, there's an email list over here. There's a prize thing over here. There's some branding over there. And that means your team is operating suboptimally for now because you just getting through. But once Pepper goes live, it's like, hey, George, you want a tournament for 2 Agoracom clients and their shareholders? Yeah, go right to the platform and do your thing.
Efficiency goes through the roof. The amount of hours that our team spends porting data over, or even prize payouts. Like, again, each event is going to have anywhere from 1, 3, 5, 10, sometimes 12 winners, and now we have to manually pay each and every one of them through PayPal, right? And so having a platform that will automate that process, we're talking about hours and hours saved. And then that allows our team to use that time more efficiently to work on other projects. So with Pepper, not only will we be able to cut time, but we'll be able to add additional partnerships and events without having to increase bandwidth because of the savings over time by not doing those manual processes. So
and I think bringing on customers is going to be a lot easier, because look, you've got here's Agoracom. We've got 60 clients, right? And we've had a number of them talk about the possibility of doing, shareholder engagement beyond what we do right now, which is great, but we want to go to another level. Like, how do we do it different? Esports tournaments is something I've been talking about for a year and a half. I saying, man, if I could do a Agoracom esports tournaments and once a week have 2 clients, but I've not been able to do it because I haven't been able to find a platform. So once Pepper is up, look, just the likes of Agoracom, and I can imagine how many other how many other companies that can't go through the hassle, don't have the time, are going to be coming on. So I think that's going to be a massive. You have any sense of what the pipeline looks like for Pepper and companies that are interested and want to get going on it? Is that, or is it too early to know?
No, for sure. So in terms of timeline, it's in a closed beta right now. We're looking at end of February for like the first version to be released, and then there will be features constantly added.
Of course.
So end of February. Again, the hope is we can potentially expedite. So that's something we're exploring right now. And then in terms of like users, so we've got a pretty good list of people. We anticipate when it launches, we'll have somewhere in like the low 6 figures ready to go day one. If you look at TGS alone, we pulled some stats. And so when we switched to online, which was the middle of March, between then and January, we've run over 100 online tournaments in about 9 months, and we've interacted with over 40,000 unique people. And so when you have that many people already just from us, it sets an amazing foundation. And that's part of the key. Like, we're not building a software or platform and then hoping users come. We have a baked in audience of users that are ready to convert day one. And then on top of that, when you add, the high schools and universities that we're working with, you add our partners on events like the Women's Carball Championship and the Calrissian Cup, you add our partners in Mexico that we're working with, you start to add all these people together, and it gets up to that, 100,000 mark pretty quickly. So we're confident day one we'll be able to have a bunch of users on the platform. And then it's just a matter of stress testing and making sure that it's able to handle, the influx at the start.
You mentioned Calrissian Cup. That was pretty cool. So I'm going to read off here because I'm not going to pretend that, I know. But Calrissian Cup, a first of its kind Star Wars Squadron series featuring so that's cool on its own.
Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Yeah, so
featuring a record $15,000 prize pool. Who came up with that prize pool? How successful has it been?
Yeah, so one thing that we've kind of noticed is in traditional esports, you know, people run the same games, right? Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, you know, the list goes on.
Sure.
There are new games coming out all the time that are looking for a competitive market. And so Star Wars Squadrons, which was a 5-on-5 pilot game, so you pilot your own, you know, your own plane, and you're trying to do an objective in the Star Wars universe. It just came out in October. And there have been a couple of events, but no one really said, okay, we can set the barrier or we can set the foundation of what competitive esports is for this game specifically. And so we work with a couple other groups and we basically laid the foundation. It's a 10-month series with an event every single month. There's a prize pool for every month. And then in October, the winners will basically play in this grand final championship.
Yeah, kind of like what we see on Jeopardy. You have the biggest champions coming back
to
play for the
come back to play. Yeah, exactly right.
Esports Jeopardy.
Esports Jeopardy, yeah. And so this is the first major series for this game. And the developers of the game actually were super excited about it. The creative director of the game, he was watching and live tweeting pretty much the whole weekend. And if you look, they actually originally announced that they were going to do an update to the game this past weekend. They actually pushed that update live today because they knew that our event was happening and they wanted to wait until after the event to not mess with the people who had been practicing and training.
And so,
and so what we've done is we've actually built the first and only professional series for Star Wars Squadrons. And when we look at that, we look at the Twitch numbers that we did, we look at the broad, like it was insane. We've actually, since we announced it, been approached by a couple other smaller developers who are building esports games that are now saying to us, hey, how could we partner with TGS to build a series around our title to really raise the profile of that game, as opposed to just making the game and hoping the community likes it and takes it on. So it's a pretty interesting opportunity. So the Squadrons itself was phenomenal. Calrissian Cup, you know, it was event 1 of 10 and it was phenomenal. But it's also led to us kind of saying, hey, we can create our own, you know, foundation of esports events going forward with niche games, and that's what we're looking to do as well.
That's why, you know, that's why in the social network, the move about Facebook, you know, you don't know what you have until you've had a little time with it to figure out what you really have at the end of the day. Great ideas like that come up. Switching gears a little bit, last question or last question, but high school and universities have played a big role in esports. Especially down in the US, where teams are created, leagues are created. In fact, I think last I saw, and it was a year ago, there are over 50 or 60 colleges in the US that were offering esports scholarships. So that's how big it's gotten. It's probably, and I got to imagine it's over 100 by now. How are you guys doing on that side? Do you have any plans to partner? You know, and you've talked about in the past, but partner on educational programs that can be offered to students.
Yeah, totally. So step one for us in establishing a foundation or a relationship is helping the schools, again, secondary or post-secondary, put on events. And we're doing that consistently. We're proving that out. We're adding new partners every day. So that's great. Then the next question is, okay, well, how can we make this an educational opportunity? And so there are a couple of things that we're working on that are pretty exciting in our opinion. Number one is we're working with a high school, a British Columbia high school, to launch a program in September. It is a paid elective program where it's an esports business program. Now, the beauty of the relationship is the school may not have the ability to provide the infrastructure. And so what we've been able to do is leverage our amazing partners like Memory Express and actually build a program where the equipment is built into the fees that the students pay. So the students will pay a fee to take a paid elective. And as part of that, TGS will provide all of the PCs, all of the monitors, all of the peripherals in an area within the school. and also help build out the curriculum for that esports business program. And then now the students who are playing in these leagues will actually have a place where they can take a class, but also train on campus as opposed to going home. So that's really cool on the high school side. And then on the post-secondary side, we're working with a university group right now. And sorry, I can't say names, but we're working with a university group right now, and we're actually building a 12-week online esports business curriculum, where it's 1 week, 1 hour a week of in-person sessions, and then a 2 to 3 hour like take-home homework assignment. So it's 12 weeks. It'll end up in some sort of diploma in esports business management. And we're actually building that curriculum as we speak, planning to launch that in the fall as well. So
hey, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring to be part of that curriculum somehow, some way, you know, as a pioneer in discovering esports and all that. That would be great to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, all partners are welcome. I think for the schools, this is such a new area for them. The one thing that we're taking really to heart is there are schools out there that are offering programs, and a lot of them are phenomenal. But what we're doing is we're really focusing on on the grassroots. We're really focusing on like the nitty gritty. So we basically have broken our curriculums into 3 main topics. Number 1 is event management. Number 2 is sales and marketing. And number 3 is production. Because typically, if you want to have a career in esports, whether it's at EA, Riot, Blizzard, whether you want to run your own tournaments, like those are the roles that are the most needed. And so laying that and giving that information is a really, really nice way for students to be able to then go to a job interview and say, oh yeah, like I took this course and I learned about this specific thing, as opposed to like learning how to run a pro team or learning how to, you know, to do marketing in esports for a third-party company like a Red Bull, for example. This helps lay the foundation for those that really want to make putting on esports events a career.
I could see, let's put it this way, I could easily see in the next 5 years, job descriptions going out for, you know, company event coordinators and things like that must have esports planning experience. There's no doubt about it, because it is one of the most newest and most powerful ways to engage customers and whatever your audience is at the end of the day. So there might be some people at home shaking their head saying, oh, that's crazy. But I can see it clear as day. And I'm usually pretty good at seeing what's going to be coming 5 years down the road. And I can see that, right? I can see that being a really important part, because look, Agoracom started doing these things called Bay Street Hold'em tournaments 10 years ago. People thought we were crazy. The engagement was through the roof. And that was before there was anything digital. So I saw how powerful it was. So for you guys to be now, you know, training people to do those kind of things and go out there, are these programs going to be TGS branded? So at the same time, you're going to get some good branding power out of that?
They'll be school branded, and where opportunity lies, we will co-brand. So basically, every school, every district, every post-secondary institution has rules around sponsorship and brand integration. And so some schools are really open to having you know, sponsors or brands be involved. Some, it's like against the policies of that district to have any co-branding anywhere. And so we'll work with them. At the end of the day, like if our brand isn't there, we'll get involved in other ways. Like we can help you know, find the educator or the facilitator of the event. We can come in and do a guest you know, a guest speaking, you know, maybe come in 1 week and actually be the lead. And then for local schools, you know, we've got the facility in Richmond. So once COVID's over, we can actually host people at the facility to take it a step further. So obviously we want our brand to be a part of it, and it'll be in partnership with, but the extent of that is basically flushed out over time. One thing I did want to quickly mention, you know, when we talk about the jobs and you were mentioning the job market, there's a Twitter account for a company called Hitmarker. Hitmarker, I believe, is based out of the UK. It is an esports specific job platform. So similar to like a Monster or in Indeed.
Look at that, but they're focusing strictly on esports.
As of I saw a tweet this morning. Wow. They had 8,000 job listings. And so if people don't believe in it, go look at Hitmarker and you can see all the global opportunities that are available in this industry. And a lot of them are those entry level kind of positions that we're going to educate people for. Anytime we have a job posting, we post it on Hitmarker. Hitmarker has grown insanely. So again, if people don't believe that it's a real thing, there are 8,000 jobs currently listed on Hitmarker's website.
Uh, uh, Look, I could talk to you for another hour because we know how big esports is going to be. At least you and I have a pretty good idea, and a
Mhm.
lot of people watching. So we'll save more for next time. But before we sign off, is there anything you want to, anything maybe that we haven't touched on that you want to impress upon your shareholders, the investing audience, with respect to the company, and maybe how you feel about of 2021, given you're off to such a great start already?
Yeah, thank you. January has really set the tone for our company into what 2021 is going to look like. Packed calendars every month, putting on lots of production and lots of events. Um, I think for us, when we're ready to unveil and unroll Pepper coming up in the next 8 weeks here, and we can combine that with the experience we have. Like, we believe we're presenting an unparalleled esports experience, and so for us, we just want to engage with people. We want to talk to people. We want to educate people. So, if anyone out there has any questions about the space, doesn't matter if you're an investor or not, doesn't matter if you understand the industry, doesn't matter if you've ever played a game in your life. That's what we live for. We live to talk about this industry and be able to share the knowledge that our team has with everybody that's out there. So I would just say, if people don't know what this industry is and want a 101, if
Get to
people
know
have
it.
kids that play, just reach out to us. We always love to have those conversations, and we can provide resources and point people in the right direction, to make sure they understand kind of what we're doing and how important it is to the overall video game ecosystem long term.
Spiro, congratulations, buddy, on what you guys have accomplished since the last
Thank
time
you.
we spoke, and getting 2021 off to a great start. I can't wait to see how many times we're going to have you back on, but I have no doubt it's going to be a lot,
I hope.
and we'll be happy, and we'll be happy for it.
Appreciate it, George. Thank you so much.
For everyone who's been watching at home or listening by your favorite podcast platform, either Spotify, Google, or Apple, or any other platform, the Spiro Curry, he's CEO of TGS Esports, trades on the venture exchange on the stock symbol TGS, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under 5RH. You've watched what he's had to say. You've heard what he's had to say. Organic growth. You see now the company's done 26 tournaments in January. Financing is coming in, growing by acquisition as well because of the Pepper Esports deal. That platform's about to go live. They're hitting on all cylinders, so it's time for you to do your due diligence. Get to Agoracom. There's a reason why their $1 million private placement got doubled to $2 million, oversubscribed based on demand, and they had to lift that. So you've got to figure the market knows something, but you've got to do your due diligence. Get to Agoracom, look at the company's profile, and then make sure you get over to the TGS website. Check it out for yourself, feel it, watch some of the videos, see all that. And I might actually advise watch the last couple of interviews that I've done with Spiro, because everything he said he's going to do, he's done, and it's just the beginning of 21, and there's a lot of good things coming. So do your due diligence. Don't say we didn't tell you so. Have a great day. See you next time.